president was responsible for gas prices coming down. Is the president responsible for gas prices going up?
So it's a lot more nuance than that, right? Peter, you know this.
No, it's not. This regime, seriously, they haven't lost their mind. They know exactly what they're doing because they will take credit when good things happen, but when bad things happen, no responsibility whatsoever. Kind of like with gas prices. Now, the issues that we're seeing with gas prices and supply and demand, folks, I hate to give you this news today, are not going to get better anytime soon. In fact, if you recall, since 2020, someone named Donald J. Trump's been warning us that we could see gas prices reach $7, $8, $9, he even said $10 a gallon. Well, I'm here to tell you, they're at $7 in California where I live, and when I fill you in on this next story, you'll understand why they could reach $10 in a few months. Listen to this. A panel of OPEC ministers have agreed to slash the production of 2 million barrels of oil a day, despite Biden's pleas begging them to pump more oil. This is the biggest production cut since 2020, when the pandemic started. They had a reason there. There was no demand. We weren't driving anywhere. It's different today. Now, this move, not real likely, it will see gas prices rise, and probably right before the midterms, which is why Joe has been so hell-bent on trying to convince them to produce more oil. Also why he's been draining our reserves. I'll get to that in a minute. You remember that under President Trump, our strategic reserves were completely stocked. Matter of fact, when he was on the show, last Monday or before, he talked about that. Okay, well, guess what? Biden has been using, in a futile attempt, to try and control prices before midterms by using the reserves. Which, oh, by the way, they're not supposed to be used for political reasons or to get us out of trouble after a pandemic. It's supposed to be for our military. Recently, the Department of Energy reported that the U.S. Strategic Petroleum Reserve has hit a 40-year low. Let me repeat that. 40-year low. Not a good time, especially when we've got all of our enemies and foes barreling down on us, and God forbid we got to go to war again, and we need oil reserves for our military. Anyway, the reserve is now down to about 427 million barrels. It's down from 600 at the beginning of this year. The reserve, again, is meant to be used in cases of desperation for our military. But Joe decided to use it a couple months back to help lower prices, which again, he caused by his Green New Deal. Oh, and also, just to add salt to the wound, the Biden regime is now considering replenishing the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, but they're waiting until oil dips to about $80 a barrel. Again, this is just 2 years after Democrats blocked President Trump from filling the reserve at $24 a barrel. Luckily, he had stocked it up pretty cheap, a lot cheaper than $80. Trump, back in March of 2020, was wanting to stabilize the oil industry after the pandemic hit. And Republicans even proposed spending $3 billion to fill up the reserve. But again, Democrats didn't let it go through. Chuck Schumer saying that his colleagues had nixed the idea because it was a bailout for big oil. Really? No, it wasn't a bailout for big oil. Joining us now to discuss these economy-crushing moves by the Biden regime when it comes to oil, the oil reserve, and what OPEC's doing, and pretty much just when it's left versus right, when it's Republicans and clean fossil fuels versus this Green New Deal BS. He's the chairman, CEO of United Refining Company, John Catsimatidis. John, thank you so much. I know you're a busy, busy man, but I saw some, I don't know if it was an op-ed or an article you put out. You've been very, very vocal. I think you were even calling this move by OPEC a while back before it became news today. Am I correct in that?
I think we called it last Friday, and it happened on Sunday.
John, just fill my viewers in. Let the American people know the bad news that this move by OPEC, Joe's move to continue to drain our reserve, which again is supposed to be for the military, is only going to send prices up where Trump told us they probably would reach if you voted for Joe.
I believe that oil could go back up. Last week, it was as low as $76. I can go back up to about 90 to 100 to maybe even 110 if they cut the full 2 million barrels, and now being $5.5 a gallon again. And it doesn't have to happen, but Saudi Arabia knows they can get away with it with Washington because Washington is not going to do anything about it.
Right.
And it's just